be Bill Belichick? Like, which dude are we going to get?
He's going back to the podium. You know that. And I just want to hear him say it one time. I have to hear that once. Just once.
Right. Well, I have no doubt that is headed our way. So Bill Belichick is now the head coach of the UNC Tar Heels. We're going to open up the phone lines to you. I want to get your reaction, America. Give us a call. Weigh in on the Dr. Pepper call-in line. 888-SAY-ESPN. What are your thoughts on Bill Belichick coaching at UNC? 888-729-3776.
Playoff on ESPN Radio.
College football playoff is expanding to 12 teams.
Touchdown! Unbelievable!
The home field advantage too in that first round. We had dreamt of this situation.
The college football playoff, round 1, December 20th and 21st on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
Prescriptions required on consultation with a healthcare provider. If appropriate restrictions apply, see website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED. It has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options. 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
Start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
The Hafer Farm Creamery of Marshfield has everything you need to satisfy your dairy cravings. From their BGH-free farm fresh milk in glass to hand-scooped ice cream cones, stop in for a variety of Wisconsin cheese, local meats, age-free eggs, and homemade candies. Gift certificates and gift boxes are available too, including large orders for businesses, packaged for pickup, or shipped across the country. See Hafer Farm Creamery, located 2 miles north of Marshfield on Highway 97. Find them on Facebook. Don't forget to book your sleigh ride.
JBC Screen Printing and Embroidery is the hometown team for all your screen printing, embroidery, and promotional product needs. They carry top brands like Nike, Adidas, and Badger. Friendly, helpful service and competitive pricing. Visit jbcscreenprinting.com or stop in at 708 Grand Avenue in Neillsville. You can give them a jingle at 743-3113 too. JBC Screen Printing and Embroidery, family owned and operated. They take pride in their work because your image is their business. Stop in at Gross Ford, Gross Motors in Neillsville, the largest Chevy, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealership in central Wisconsin. Right now, well-qualified buyers get 1.9% APR for 60 months, plus $1,000 holiday cash on select 2024 Ford F-150s with Ford credit financing. Subject to approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Shop today, test drive, and compare Chevy, Ford.
Bill Belichick is now the head coach of North Carolina. He is headed to college in this new landscape of college football. When a lot of the greats are fleeing the scene, Bill Belichick is running towards it. You can find him at Ian Fitz ESPN. You can find me at Amber W Sports. Amber and Ian is presented to you by Progressive Insurance. So we are opening up our phone lines to you. We want your reaction to the Bill B news. 888-SAY-ESPN. 888-729-3776. Let's start with Matt in Louisiana. Hey, Matt, thanks for the call. What's your reaction?
I just want to say good for Bill Belichick going back to college. The NFL seems to be throwing up its nose at him. He's been on the sidelines at LSU games this year. He was down at the Manning Passing Academy where I live. And let me tell you, he doesn't want to coach the Saints. We are trash. And like $100 million over the salary cap next year. So let him go have fun at North Carolina. He seemed to be happy on the sidelines at his college games, and good luck to him.
Thanks for the call, Matt. I think that the last part of what Matt just said, though, let him go have fun. What's funny to me about that, Ian, is that most coaches now, I feel like, would not describe coaching in college football as fun, particularly the older coaches.
Yeah, I had one coach after the national championship last year. I told you this story, but people may have missed it. Grabbed me by my suit lapel because my brother had been, approached by 2 Power 4 schools to be their special teams coordinator, tight ends coach. This one powerful head coach in college football grabs me by my suit and goes, "You tell Fitz don't ever come back to college. Don't ever come back. NIL in a portal is a B. Don't ever come back." But then you talk to NFL coaches that are dipping their toes into the college realm, going the other way. Joe DeCamillis, longtime special teams coordinator, Super Bowl champion from the LA Rams, was with the Dallas Cowboys. You know where he is right now?
Where?
South Carolina, coaching for Shane Beamer. You know where Joe Judge is right now?
Where?
I had no idea he was on the damn staff until I was at Ole Miss following the Oklahoma game, and who comes up and gives me a bear hug? The former head coach of the New York Giants and a Belichick assistant in Joe Judge. He's on Lane Kiffin's staff. And you cannot tell me that Big Bill, the hoodie, ain't making a phone call to his longtime assistant and Joe Judge going, "All right, tell me everything you've experienced in college so far." And it had to sound good. You're getting 3 years, $30 million, $10 million per. You're going to bring your son back over from Washington to be on your staff again. I mean, look, to Matt's point, go have fun. And maybe some of these guys are going from the NFL to college, are able to teach, and they're more used to NIL in the portal, like free agency. Therefore, maybe it's more natural to them right now.
That is what Bill Belichick referenced when he was talking to McAfee, I believe it was. He said that college now is more like the pros than ever before, and that's true, but it's not the pros. And he is 72, and now he's going to be dealing with a bunch of 18-year-olds and a bunch of 18-year-olds that are getting paid money, which is a different ballgame, frankly, than what he was dealing with, even though, yes, he was dealing with still incredibly young men in their mid-20s as well. Let's go ahead back to the phone lines, 888-SAY-ESPN. That's where we find Jordan. Jordan is calling us from Georgia. Jordan, thanks for the call. What's your reaction?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
We're great, thanks. What do you have for us?
Hey, I'm intrigued by this hire. Now, I think it's either going to go one of two ways. I either think Bill Belichick is going to crush it, or he's going to do a terrible job. He's never going to coach it. I also want to say, for the first time ever that I've been a sports fan, I'm actually rooting for Bill Belichick to do good in his coaching.
That's a good point. I, too, have never rooted for Bill Belichick as a Dolphins fan. I guess this would be the time, too, if you spent a lot of your NFL fandom absolutely hating Bill Belichick, like so many of us did. Maybe there will be. Maybe we'll see a kinder, more fuzzy, warm version of Bill Belichick. Because, by the way, even though, yes, it's a bit more like the pros, Ian, you still have to recruit. And now you have to recruit 24/7, because now you're not just recruiting high schoolers, you're recruiting the transfer portal each and every season as well. That's nothing that Bill B dealt with in the NFL.
I would be surprised if Belichick is as involved with recruiting as his good friend Nick Saban was every single day at Alabama. Just because I don't think he wants to do it.
I mean, maybe, but you can't be the head coach of a university and not. Like, you are the draw. The whole reason they're paying you $10 million is because you are the draw, not your scouts. You are the draw. You have to be the one in their living room, right?
Well, and that's what's changed. They don't. The recruiting process isn't nearly as much, pretending that you like, Miss Wilson's mom's, cornbread, because a lot of the recruiting is now taking place on campus.
Right. And
the players are coming to you, and you're having them in your house or at your facility. So he's not going to have to go and pretend like he likes somebody's meatloaf, right? That's not the world of college football right now.
Yeah, well, Bill doesn't strike me as necessarily great at that. Although who knows? Who knows about Bill Belichick behind the Might be a meatloaf kind of guy. 888-SAY-ESPN. Richard is calling us from Florida. Richard, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight? Thanks for letting me chime in on this.
Sure.
Now, I'm a Giant fan, so I go back to when he was our defensive coordinator and the great job he did. So I'm trying not to be a hater, but I got to tell you, his behavior during the Aaron Hernandez situation, in no way, shape, or form should Bill Belichick be, deemed responsible for any of the criminal activity that Aaron Hernandez did. But he had such an opportunity with that young man to make a difference in his life, and he did nothing. And I got to say, that's just a microcosm of the way he treats 22-year-olds. They're commodities to him, and that's not going to change. By the way, what I don't understand is, let's say he does well at North Carolina. How does that have anything to do with the pros? Like, what is that? Like, why would somebody think if he did well at North Carolina that would change any of the issues there were at the pros? Because it's not the X's and O's stuff, right?
No, you're right about that part. He wants to, as Bill Parcells, famously said, you want me to cook the dinner, let me go shop for the groceries, right? Well, that's Bill Belichick. He's the exact same way. He was the de facto GM for years in New England and also the head coach. He was going to go shop for the groceries, just like his guy he worked for years in Bill Parcells.
Which you're going to be at the collegiate level now, too. I mean, all these college teams are 100%. Actually hiring general managers now, and that's one reason that UNC might have been attracted to Bill Belichick and his experience there as a general manager. I do tend to agree with that caller, though. I'm not sure that I see the translation. I guess to that caller's point, I feel like he already did everything that you can do at the NFL level. And if you aren't attractive right now as a head coach to NFL teams, then there's, with that resume, with 6 Super Bowls, with all the years and all the decades, then there's nothing, I don't think, that you're going to be able to do at North Carolina to change that equation. I'm not sure why you would need that 2 years at UNC. That's going to change everybody's mind about Bill Belichick. 888-SAY-ESPN. Jalen is calling us from Georgia. Jalen, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Hey, from Georgia, from North Carolina, from the Tar Heel breed. I love the experience that Bill Belichick is coming in. UNC is like a powerhouse across the board of all sports. So with him coming for football, I'm liking that. We have a national championship with soccer, basketball. So with him coming for football, I'm liking the new talent and the new experience with UNC as a UNC fan.
I would imagine as UNC fans that this is probably exciting. I mean, why the heck not,
hell
right?
Yes. Absolutely.
This hasn't been the bread and butter of your school. I mean, it is a basketball school, right? First and foremost.
Yeah, but you can't be
most
both.
Of your passion lies.
Like, how would you describe Alabama?
Football school.
Right, not anymore.
But it's still a football first. But it's both, right? It's a both. Like, I can say that about my Florida Gators. But
yep. Nate Oates right now, I mean, he's got one of the best college basketball teams in all of college hoops. So you can be both. And UNC, to me, has the resources to be able to be both.
Right. 888-SAY-ESPN. Dwight is calling us from Dallas. Dwight, what's your reaction? No more Dwights. Forget about you, Dwight. Don't let the door hit you.
Seattle has me intrigued here.
Dave in Seattle. Let's go to you. Dave in Seattle, thanks for the call. What do you have for us?
Thanks for taking my call, guys. Ian, how come you haven't brought this up? You're getting your kid from Washington to help you coach. It's just like Rodney Dangerfield and going back to school. Okay, so why didn't you bring that up, Ian? That would be, you are the man on the references of all movies. Old and
stuff?
This is Bill trying to win everybody over. I mean, he is. If he's Chapel Hill Bill, hey, he's got no respect.
Well, and to that point, for anybody who has never seen Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, now I will have for the rest of the evening the image of Bill Belichick in that one-piece, like wrestling singlet that Rodney Dangerfield was wearing in order to pull off the triple Lindy. So there you go. Now I'm cursed for the rest of the evening. Appreciate
Jeff is calling us from Ohio. Jeff, you got about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Hey, Bob Belichick. Hey, what was, I know he's, supposedly the greatest of all time. What was his record post Tom Brady? What was it, 5-6 years since he left? What was his, I know he was great with Tom Brady. What was his record
And to
Only
your
playoff
point,
appearance.
right, one playoff appearance. And to your point, and we're up against it, but thanks for the call. And to your point, I think that's why that he didn't have a head coaching job, because in the NFL, which is apparently what he wanted. Now, he was getting interviews, but I guess that's my point. If it wasn't working there the last 4 years in New England, then I don't know why it working in North Carolina is really going to make that much of a difference.
Now, look, and I'm fascinated to hear from our next guest, because Jeff Saturday is a very proud, and I do mean proud, UNC Tar Heel.
UNC fans are getting Bill Belichick as their new head coach. The best fan of the month is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it is a pepper thing. So you just heard Ian say it. We are expecting Jeff Saturday, a UNC alum, to join us right here on Amber and Ian on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you why the Rams have a chance to become the scariest team in the NFC as we head into the playoffs. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Basketball preview program. We'll talk with local basketball coaches about their upcoming high school seasons here in central Wisconsin. That's up next on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, and WOSQFM.com.
Bauer & Feind has been based in Marshfield since 1955. And if you're in business that long, you're obviously doing many things right. We always focus on selling world-class products, backing it up with world-class customer support.
Working with Bauer & Feind Business Technologies has been a pleasure. We have staff on call that we can call if we ever have issues, and the printer usability has been really easy, user-friendly.
Give us a call, visit our website. We'd be happy to come in, talk to you. Maybe there's a way we can help you save some money and work more efficiently.
On South Central Avenue in Marshfield, our high school boys basketball preview program tonight on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, and ZaleskiSports.com. Along with Jason Zaleski and Larry Hazer, I'm Gene Delisio. Happy to have you with us for our annual boys basketball preview program here at Nutz Deep 2 in Marshfield. Once again, Larry Hazer joining us. Larry, good to be back with you once again. Looks like another exciting basketball season now underway.
So far, so good.
Yep.
Not many games in, but it's been fun.
So good to have a
the
chance.
ones that we've had, yeah.
Good to have a chance to talk with local coaches about the upcoming season. The first man on the docket tonight is the head basketball coach at Marshfield High School, Chris Fischer. Coach, thanks for coming by. Let's talk about Tiger basketball. Good to have you with us on our program today.
It's my pleasure, Gene. I always enjoy getting together with you guys and talking basketball.
Well, let's talk about the start of your season. 1-1 so far. Fill us in on the start for the Marshfield Tigers this year.
Yeah, it's been a little bit uneven, a little bit disjointed. Came out flat right off the bat. It would be a mistake to not talk about how good Appleton East was defensively against us in our opener. They made us really uncomfortable and forced us to stand around quite a bit, and we weren't very good offensively, but I thought we rebounded very, very well against a young and talented La Crosse Central team last Thursday. So we've got some things going in the right direction, but still a lot to work on.
Well, some high expectations in your ball club this year because of very talented ball players coming back. First of all, tell us about overall, your thoughts about this? What do you think about this year's team?
Yeah, we've got a nice group of kids. We've got a good mix of size and perimeter play. We've got guys with a lot of experience, a lot of top-tier experience, a lot of pressure-packed moments in high-intense games and high-physicality games. We've got guys that are committed to the sport. We've got guys that have been playing for a long time, playing together for a long time. It's a very enjoyable group to be around because they all get together often outside of practices and games, and we're looking forward to a enjoyable season. There's a long way to go, and we've got to be focused on daily improvement, which at times can be difficult for teenage boys, especially when you've got a lot of returners coming back from a successful season. You can get complacent, and you can be focused on and try to skip steps way down the line, but we need to make sure that we're focused on our everyday preparation.
I don't recall too many Marshfield Tiger basketball teams with this kind of preseason notoriety. How have you and your staff and your ball players handled that coming into this season?
We're trying to block it out. We're trying to maintain the focus and the talk within our program the same as it has been to get ourselves to this point. We talk about the only thing that's really changed around our program is the noise that's outside of our program. We want to keep the talk and the preparation within our program the same. It's a difficult task for teenage boys and high school boys to block out all the peripheral stuff, all the social media posts and all the ranking stuff. That's a really difficult task to do. And I want them to be proud of what they've accomplished, and I want them to be proud of the notoriety that we're receiving, but we've got to maintain our focus on the on-court product and our academics and the standards that we've set for ourselves.
Well, many good ball players on your roster this year. Let's talk about some of these young men and where they fit in for you this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. A lot of really good, talented individuals. We've got 15 on our varsity roster this year, including 8 seniors, and it's an incredible joy to be around them every day. Guys like Brooks Hinson and Landon Lee, it starts with them as our 2 captains, and Brooks being a 4-year player and Landon Lee being a 3-year guy for us. Incredible work ethic out of all of them, incredible skill from them. They set the tone for everything that we do. On top of that, we've got some good underclassmen. I'm proud of what we're doing at the JV and freshman levels. I'm proud of what we're doing at the youth level in our middle school program. We've got things going in the right direction. The important thing now is to try to maintain some consistency and, get everything moving in the right direction.
And lots of notoriety once again for Brooks Hinson coming into this season. Tell us about your expectations for him this year.
Yeah. I don't know if I can say anything about Brooks that I haven't said already. The kid is just an absolute gym rat and a warrior. He at times my insecurities kick in as a coach because he's such a talented player. You wonder if there's something that you're missing or some type of skill development you could offer him that he doesn't already know. Obviously his game as a shooter has been there for 4 years. I think his game with his back to the basket has really improved. He had a really good back to the basket game against Central where we got some deep post touches for him. He's a very underrated defender. He's taken on the lead role of guarding the opposition's best player. It's really difficult for me to take him off the floor. In fact, I don't think I can. He's in tremendous physical condition. It never looks like he's tired. He never stops running. He guards people for 84 feet. He comes hard off of screens. He sets screens, and it never looks like he gets tired. I don't know how he does it, but he never gets tired.
Coach, what has the development the last couple of years of Landon Lee meant to Brooks?
Yeah.
Because quite often a player at Brooks' talents be handling the ball and shooting the ball. With Landon, Brooks does not have to handle the ball nearly as much. So how has that helped Brooks in his development?
I think that's maybe where Brooks can get his rest. As a freshman, Brooks was probably our primary ball handler if I had to go back and think about it. he was the guy that would bring the ball up the floor quite a bit as a true freshman. As a sophomore, he did that as well. Landon was on our team coming off the bench that year. We also had Luke Lemoyne handle some ball handling duties there. But then as the year progressed last year, Landon took on more of that primary ball handler where Brooks could play off the ball and just get those moments of rest where he can jog down to the other end and allow Landon to bring it up and maybe catch an extra 10 seconds of rest all the time. So, those two guys in tandem, they've got the in-sync ability to know what the other is going to do without them doing it. They become their own press attackers when anytime a team wants to pressure us in the full court or any type of half-court trap. They make me look really smart, and all I really do is say, Brooks, Landon, go handle it. There really isn't an X and O or any type of diagram up. It's just you two guys go take care of it. And a lot of times they do.
Can you talk about some other young men on your team and what they mean to you this year?
Yeah, everybody has their role, and I don't necessarily want to name off all 14 or 15 of our guys, but because I'm afraid I'm going to miss one of them. But everyone has done a really good job so far of figuring out what role they're going to have for our team, and then coming to practice every day, understanding that, and then thriving in it. I still think there's some guys that are trying to figure out where they fit. Some of the new guys to our varsity team, bringing 10 guys back and having 5 new guys come in. The 5 new guys are trying to figure out what they're at. But there's also the 10 guys that are coming back they've developed new skills or different skills and trying to work that in. So we're not where we want to be offensively yet. Defensively, the first 2 games, I think we've been pretty good. But offensively, we're still working out some kinks.
Anything about this team that you think needs to really improve to really reach some of the goals you have this year? Yeah,
there's a couple of stats that from our first 2 games that are major concerns. First of all is turnovers. We've turned the ball over far too many times for our liking yet. Against La Crosse Central, I think in the second half, I think we had about a 6 out of 7 possession stretch where we turned the ball over. Luckily, they weren't live ball turnovers. They were literally passes that were hitting bleachers and walls because the timing and miscommunication was off. So turnovers are off the bat. But the one set that's very concerning to me is the fact that in 2 games we've only attempted 2 free throws. We had a game against Central where we had a lot of points in the paint and we were attacking, but there were times where we shied away from contact and didn't find ourselves in the free throw line. So only shooting 2 free throws in 2 games is a major concern.
Speaking of in the paint, a lot of people who don't know your ball club might think you've got some great shooters, which you do, and athletic guys, things like that. But you do have that post presence in Ethan Connect. Tell us about how the role he has on your ball club.
Yeah, Ethan's a big part. There might not be a guy that understands his role and plays his role better than what Ethan does. Ethan is a really good athlete, 3-sport athlete, really good in track and really good football player as well. He's got good feet. He runs the floor incredibly well for a big man, and he can carve out space in that low block, short corner area. He's also a really good ball screener as well. So we're trying to figure out a way to utilize him a little bit more, and we're happy with Ethan's progress so far.
Larry, any comments or questions you have for Coach Fischer?
Well, I just noticed you had a couple of games right off the bat.
Yeah.
And now you haven't had a game since last Thursday, and you don't have a game until Friday.
Yep.
Advantage or disadvantage for your team?
Yeah, I think I can feel the guys getting really itchy. I think, as a coach, I think we always need to practice. We need to continue to get better on our end. We got to focus on us. But I could tell yesterday and today in our practices, I think our guys are getting really itchy, and they want to compete, and they want to compete against quality opponents, and we've got that coming up on our schedule. So they're getting a little bit itchy right now. I still think that we need practice. We need to have a really good practice tomorrow. We've got DC Everest at their place Friday night, and that's going to be a major test for us because looking at Everest, their offensive stats jump out at you. As a team, they're shooting 54% from the field. They're shooting over 50% from 3. 4 guys in double figures are well balanced, are well coached, we're going to have our hands full Friday night.
What about that Valley Conference? Where are you guys going to fit in?
I think the Valley is as deep as it's been in quite some time. Spash, Everest, and Wausau East are all very, very good teams. Of the 20 guys that received all conference recognition last year, 15 of them return in our conference. So top to bottom, it's as deep as it's been in a long time.
All right.
And again, Coach, you're back in action to Friday night in Schofield against DC Everest. We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys. Roll Tigers.
Marshfield Tiger basketball coach Chris Fischer joining us on our boys basketball preview program from Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield. We'll come back with Columbus Dons basketball coach Joe Koneiczny as our program continues in just a moment.
Wondering what to feed your team after work, the game, or this weekend? Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield and Wisconsin Rapids has tasty, char-broiled burgers for any hungry appetite. From the classic hamburger to the famous Chips Champ and everything in between, check out our daily specials. Stop inside to enjoy your meal with comfortable seating. See our complete menu of burgers, hot ham and cheese, hot beef, chicken and fish, fries, rings, curds, and ice cream served year-round. In a hurry? Same great menu in the drive-thru. Chips Hamburgers in Marshfield and Wisconsin Rapids.
Witness the difference of a Catholic education at Columbus Catholic Schools.
I think everyone should just know what makes this place special.
But come and see. That's just what the Lord always said, and put your toe in the water. There are great schools, and it's a good fit. I'd always want them to come and to just to feel the goodness and the family atmosphere.
I invite everyone just to come in and see what it's about and to see if it might be right for them and their family.
We invite you to schedule a tour today.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Family, friends, and business associates across town or across the country with fresh flowers, holiday plants, and Abdallah candies from Hefco Floral. Our flowers and plants bring beauty, fragrance, and holiday spirit to any home or office. Shop 24/7 conveniently online at Hefco.com. Hefco Floral Company, downtown Marshfield. Open during the holidays, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5:30, Saturdays, 8 to 3. There's no place like Hefco's and Hefco.com for the holidays.
You're listening to our boys basketball preview program on WOSQ on ZaleskiSports.com with Jason Zaleski and Larry Hazer. I'm Gene Delisio at Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield. Our program this evening brought to us by Felker Brothers Corporation, the complete combination in stainless steel piping products, pipe, tube, fittings, and custom fabrication at Felker Brothers of Marshfield. Columbus Dons boys basketball coach Joe Koneiczny now with us. The Dons winners of the WIAA Division V state championship a year ago. Wonderful season for the Columbus Dons. They've had a number of those in recent years under Coach Koneiczny, and now back once again with a much different crew, but still a very solid, very fine ball club. Coach, thanks for coming by, and welcome to our program for this evening.
Thank you for having me. I always really enjoy it.
Well, good to have you with us once again this year, and fill us in on the start of your ball club. What progress you think your ball club has made so far this year?
It's a fun group. We've had a lot to replace. We've played 6 games to this point. We won 4 of those games. Some losses to 2 really good non-conference opponents in McDonell and Auburndale. I think we have a young group that's learning as we go, but they work really hard, and they're really good people and fun to be around. So, our hope is that we continue to learn and by playoff time become a really difficult team to knock out of the playoffs.
Can you reflect one more time, Coach, for our listeners, your thoughts about that great accomplishment last year of winning that state championship?
Very grateful. I thank those young men a lot of times for the opportunity to be their coach and to go on that ride with them. Those are things that you'll remember forever, to get to coach at the Cole Center, multiple times now, and to get there and win it. We failed at every step of the way over 19 years before we did that. We had 7 sectional finals, lost 4 of them, a couple in overtime. To get to state 3 times and finally come home with a gold ball, something that you'll never forget. You're grateful for, and you're just appreciative that all the pieces kind of fell together in year 19. I'm very, very grateful.
Can you reflect, Coach, as a former Columbus student, longtime coach, educator at Columbus High School as well, what that state championship means overall to the overall Columbus Catholic school system?
Well, I'm very proud of our school. We talk a lot about the purpose of athletics as it relates to a school system, and I think it's the visible component, probably the most visible component, and I really believe that our school's as good as it gets, and I feel like we finally represented them like they deserve to be represented. And we had some teams, 20, 30 years ago, going back to Walt Kroll and Don's football, and the tradition there with athletics is tremendous. So very, very proud that our basketball program was finally able to do that for the school.
Well, tell us about the young men on your ball club. First of all, the process of replacing so many good ball players from a year ago and incorporating these new men into your system this year.
We have 2 seniors that are out this year. Sam Dooms, Ezra Duda. Sam plays big minutes for us. Had a small role last year. And then on our varsity team, we have 6 juniors: Matt Koneiczny, Caleb Hilgeman, Devlin Timler, Jack Colbeck, Cade Jansen, and Mason Edwards. All very athletic, all very quick, really good defensively, learning as we go offensively. We're playing 3 sophomores a lot right now. We started 3 of them in the last few games with injuries: Cole Wallace, Ben Weiland, and Carter Summer. And then we have 2 other sophomores that are going to have bright futures. A kid named Ray Becker, his older brother Cy was on the team last year, and a young man named Elijah Wolf, who's just a tremendous athlete and a really hard worker and good kid. So I'm hopeful that this year is a stepping stone towards great things, and I think by the end of the season we could be pretty formidable.
Have you had to tweak a few things in terms of your system, offensively or defensively, to accommodate these new ball players?
Well, I think we're better defensively. We're playing a lot more man-to-man in hopes that those habits will carry over into some other things that we like to do. We're struggling to find some offense right now, mainly balance. I think Mac had 23 the first game. Nobody else was in double figures. And then you could see McDonald and Auburndale especially really try to take him away. Last night, Spencer did the same thing. Face guarded him, double-teamed him. But those 3 sophomores all scored in double figures. I think Carter had 15 and Ben and Cole had 14. And last night was more like last year where you have 4 guys in double figures and there's a balance. Like last year, the thing that was probably our greatest asset was we had three kids that could score 20 on any given night, and they didn't care who did it. I think Emmett ended up with 1,300, and Blake was 1,100, and Charlie was 900. So we had three seniors last year combined for 3,000 points. And those conversations were had where do you want one guy to score 2,000, or do you want to have 3 guys combined for 3,000? And that's the secret, I think, is just having depth in scoring. A team can shut down 1 or 2, but if you have that 3rd or 4th person that can get you 10 or 15, it's very, very hard to stop.
Tell us about Mac's role this year as the only real player from last year who got a lot of minutes for you.
Well, I think we rely on him defensively. I think we've worn him out the first 6 games, which is my fault. We have to find a way to find him some rest. He's guarding the other team's best player, being guarded by the other team's best player. And I think in the second halves of games, he's gassed, and rightfully so. So last night we rested him a few minutes each half. It seemed to be effective. Gave some other guys a chance to be the defensive stopper at times. And I think it's just a matter of him fitting with the new group. He was in a role last year as the 5th or 6th guy where he could score 10 points and kind of be the 4th option, and he got a lot of open shots and made them. This year, it's been a different experience for him as far as, hey, there's one guy in my face and a second one waiting for me. So it's going to be an adjustment process, but if those other 3 or 4 can knock down shots like they did last night, I think it's something that'll develop into a good experience.
One of the aspects I've noticed about your ball club this year is athletic size. You do have some bigger guys, and they're athletic as well. Tell us about utilizing their skills this year.
You're right. We, Carter's a legit 6'4", 6'5", and he's a sophomore still growing. Caleb Hilgeman's a 6'5", 6'6" kid. The Jack Colbeck, the junior off the bench, is a legitimate 6'6". We do have some length that we haven't had probably since the Bryce Fernley or Jared Mandel group, which is good. Caleb went down against McDonald, hasn't played this week. It really hurt us against Auburndale. We got out rebounded 30-14. They're a very, very good opponent. Hopefully we'll have him back in the next week or 2. But you're right, we have some size and athleticism. Now we just have to find a way to have that, put the ball in the basket, and it's something we're working on.
I was certainly pleasantly surprised to watch their ball game against McDonald and see Jack Holbeck out there taking threes and hitting threes. So he had some good athleticism there.
Yeah, we have some players that worked really, really hard this offseason. I think Jack and Sam are two examples, especially offensively. They've added a dimension as far as being able to shoot the ball where you can't leave them anymore like maybe you would have been able to last year. I'm so very, very proud of those guys.
Larry, any questions or comments you have for Coach Koneiczny?
You won the state title last year, and your JV team went 21-0. How much of importance is that with these young kids coming up now?
It's huge. I think our philosophy is that what we do on game day is probably overrated from a coaching standpoint. We put a ton of time in from kindergarten on up, and we just want to be the program that's always knocking on the door, and then hopefully the door finally opens. But you're right. We have 13 freshmen this year. 7th and 8th grade are pretty solid. 6th grade is really, really good. And then all the way down to like our 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There's some kids that work really hard in those groups. So the goal is to never have that year where you just kind of fall off and go from a state championship to 5 or 6 wins. We don't want to do that. And I think the advantage for that JV team is a lot of those guys got to practice 3 extra weeks and guard Emmett and Blake and Charlie in practice. And that carries over into the offseason and into this season.
Clarabelle Conference, just a couple of games, actually 1 game or 2 in. Yeah. But from what I've seen, it's going to be as tough as it's ever been.
I would agree. I think 1 through 6 or 7, it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a little bit stressful for coaches, I think. But Colby's very good. That Colby Loyal game last night, you're sitting there going, holy cow. Neillsville, the way they play, it's just up and down and mixing defenses, some kids who can shoot, and they have some size too, some athleticism. Owen Withy's good. Right all the whole conference. Even Spencer was 3-0 last night, and I have some really nice players. The Beslett kid and the foreign exchange student's a really nice athlete. So I don't anticipate any easy games in the conference for sure.
Any prediction on where you want to fit in on?
Well, we want to compete every night. I think Loyal's probably the pick with what they have back. And a really, really athletic group of size. But then Colby last night gave them a run. I think Neillsville and Columbus are trying to figure it out, replacing a lot of guys. Coach Gaier and I talked last year when we played them at Columbus. They had 11 seniors and we had 9. And I told him, I don't know that I've ever been part of a game where 20 of these guys won't be here next year. So it's going to be a little different. And, and you can tell on their films that they're trying to figure it out too. The Hazer kid can score and you know what he can do, but there's other guys trying to develop a role and to figure out where they fit.
Now, over the years, you guys have been a 3-point shooting team. Mm-hmm. Is that something you're still going to be doing this year?
Yeah, we shoot a lot of threes. We just got to learn to make them. And that's kind of been the issue of these first 4 or 5 games is consistency, where we'll go in stretches and it's like, wow, we could be really good. And then 8 or 9 trips down the floor, we miss open shots. So I think that's something that individuals can work on their own time, and we have some boys that are doing that. And I think it's a confidence thing, too. When you're a sophomore and you're out there for the first time, it's a little quicker, it's a little different, and it's going to be a learning experience for sure.
I know sometimes when, especially young shooters, when they miss a couple, they're a little leery to shoot anymore. Yeah. But if you're going to be a shooter, they always say you got to shoot to get hot.
100%. Short memory. And I've told 3 or 4 of them, I'm never going to yell at you for taking an open 3. If you miss 10 in a row, the 11th one has to go up. No offense, you're 5'9". We're not going to start posting you up. So you need to continue to take outside shots.
Gene?
Coach, tell us once again about the new field house, what that means to your school and your program.
Yeah, it's been something that's been in the works for a long time. Our school has 1 gym for 10 teams. When you look at the youth teams and the high school teams, we'll practice tonight after this. A lot of times we'll go at 5:30 in the morning. We've raised a lot of money privately, I think over $10 million, and it's under construction, and in July it'll open 4 full courts, some batting cages, a weight room, and 4 new classrooms to kind of accommodate growing enrollment. So we're very excited as the coach selfishly to be able to stand in the middle and watch 4 of your youth teams at once, and to really not have to spend 14 hours a day to get to know every player in your program from grade school on up. It's going to be great, and I think we can host some great events for the community and for the other schools in the area with 4 courts and our high school gym. So very, very excited and very grateful for the people that made that happen.
Well, good. And if you would, fill us in on your coaching staff for this year.
Oh, I have 3 or 4 former players. Jared Mandel teaches social studies for us. He's our JV coach. Nick Mulliver and Charles Pant coach our JV too. And then Scott Scheuer is a varsity assistant this year. All those guys, so appreciative for what they do. Coach Scheuer has done an unbelievable job with strength and conditioning. Jared, Nick, and Charles do a really good job with those younger players, kind of teaching them what it's about to be in the program. And those guys are all just fun to be around. I just enjoy being around all 4 of them.
And the Neillsville Ball Club at your place on Friday night.
Yeah, they're good. It's going to be a Clover Belt East game, probably back and forth, some great plays and some head scratchers, and I think both teams will learn as they go to an extent.
And that game will be seen on ZaleskiSports.com, heard on WPKG as well, with Larry Hazer calling the action. Coach, good luck in that ball game and throughout the season.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for all the coverage. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Columbus Dons basketball coach Joe Koneiczny with us on in Marshfield. We'll check in with Stratford Tiger coach Curt Schmitt as our next guest following these messages.
Tired of hearing about checking account features? So are we. It's more about what you can do with your money to live the life you want. Forward Bank puts your access to everything you need in the palm of your hand. Mobile deposit, recurring digital payments, transfer funds, or pay a friend easily. Yes, our checking is free and includes all that you would expect. It's supported by your neighbors and friends at Forward, dedicated to serving our communities. Open online today at forward.bank.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken has been voted best pizza in Marshfield 16 years in a row. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken is ready for your call now. Choose drunken chicken, BLT, Western, mac and cheese, sweet chili chicken, and more. Plus, Scotty's has broasted chicken, fish sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, 715-384-8118 and Scotty'sPizza.com.
Scotty's Pizza and Chicken, how can I help you?
Hiller's True Value in Marshfield, Central Wisconsin's Milwaukee Tool Destination Center. The tools you trust from the people you can depend on. Shop the store within a store and find what you're looking for.
That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Now that's what I was looking for. Looks like you found what you're looking for.
We redesigned our store to offer the biggest selection of Milwaukee tools.
A selection so big you'll need a map to find your way out.
Hiller's True Value in Marshfield, Central Wisconsin's Milwaukee Tool Destination Center.
We know how a bank should be at Partners Bank. Banking should be easier, treating our customers as valued and important. Services should be better with online and mobile banking and locations close to where you live and work. Loans should be quicker, and we make all decisions locally with years of experience helping people with their financing needs. Partners Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
Partners Bank, better together.
You are listening to our boys basketball preview program on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, Spencer, Marshfield, and WOSQFM.com, as well as ZaleskiSports.com. With Larry Hazer and Jason Zaleski, I'm Gene Delisio at Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield. By the way, on Thursday on ZaleskiSports.com, several key ball games coming up tomorrow night. Owen Withy and Columbus in girls basketball tomorrow. Also, Neillsville and Loyal tomorrow in girls basketball. That game also will be heard tomorrow on 92.7 FM WPKG. Boys basketball tomorrow, Wild Rose and Pacelli. That also on ZaleskiSports.com on Thursday evening. Our next guest is Stratford Tiger boys basketball coach Curt Schmitt joining us on our program. Coach, thanks for coming by and welcome to our program for this evening.
Thanks for having me.
And tell us about the start of your season, what things look like for your Stratford Tiger ball club so far this year.
Well, you know, I got a decent amount of returners back, and I got some younger new guys that are playing this year that, you know, we're hoping that they can learn kind of the stuff that we do and make the adjustments we need. And pretty happy with, you know, I guess being 3-0, kind of starting late, so, and trying to get our legs caught up. You know, right now we're just work in progress and taking one game at a time.
You mentioned some returners back with you this year. Fill us in on those young men and their roles on this year's ball club.
You know, one of the ones we have coming back who's been a 3-year starter now, counting this year's Drew Brusewitz. We're counting on him to continue to be a scoring spark for us on offense and kind of push the ball up the floor for us. Real nice kid, good defender. We have Caleb Wrench coming back, who's got a lot of experience from last year and pretty savvy player and good defender, good penetrator. Alec Chapel, we're hoping will continue to rebound well and be a force on the interior as well as the outside. And then we got Reed Miller coming back, who's starter for us from last year. Trying to get him healthy and ready to go, and we're excited about the presence that he has for us. And then Jet Shaner coming back, who's had a pretty nice beginning of the season so far with just being smart and being able to finish around the basket and playing good defense. And then we have Caden Foster, who gave us some good minutes last year, who had a pretty good night last night, and it was nice to see him get going. Struggled a little bit first couple games with offensive shooting. So we're pretty excited about, these guys coming back and helping us again this year.
Good start this year for Drew Brusewitz, who's a premier ball player. Tell us about Drew and the role he has on your ball club this year.
Well, we have a nice junior player that's healthy this year, Brooks Vanderhoof, that we'd like to have him bring the ball up a little bit more, free up Drew for more shooting and being more active in the offense as far as a scoring threat. But he has the ability to bring the ball up and run our fast break and kind of get us going. He posts up well, he shoots well, he finishes well, good ball handler, smart player. He gives us a lot of things that we like, about what he does. So,
any areas in particular where this ball club looks pretty strong in your eyes this year?
Well, we're fast and athletic, not real tall, but I like, the athleticism. Hopefully they can play pretty good defense and be able to hit some shots. And there's athleticism to penetrate a little bit more and to try to get to the lane and kind of spray the ball out and try to finish around the basket. But it's a little bit of a challenge, we've been going against teams pretty tall. So finishing around the basket's not real easy, but we've been trying to pick up full court a little bit more to try to be able to create more advantages on the offensive end.
Of course, your season's starting a bit late because of the football championship, and overall, when you have success like that in another sport, how does that translate to your young men in your sport?
Well, you hope it translates into a positive thing, but it's still a completely different sport. I know they're competitive and they bring it, but you got to get through the first part where they're kind of tired and banged up and beat up, and I know if I played football again, it's probably not the most exciting thing to start something immediately completely different, but these guys have responded well, and I feel they're excited to play basketball and have a good season and just kind of go where things take us, I guess.
And you mentioned Brooks coming back this year. He did not play for you as much as you liked last year, but I remember you telling us about him and what he could mean to your ball club.
Yeah, and also, another two would be Brady Berg, and I don't want to leave those guys out, and Riley Spindler. Riley Spindler was hurt all last year. He had a shoulder injury from football, and so he missed the whole season, and he gives us another real nice shooting guard. But Brooks, getting back to your original question, he's a smart, savvy player. He struggled with a hamstring all last year, so he played JV. He kind of played 75%. He just lingered all year, and at the end of the year, it started to finally get a little bit better. And he's strong. He's a good defender. He's very smart. He's a skilled athlete. We're hoping for good things from him. And then, like I said before, Riley Spindler, being out a whole year, we're kind of, it's always hard when you miss a whole year to see where you're at, but he's catching up pretty quickly. And then Brady Berg gives us a nice little stretch four player who, he's got some skill from the outside. And, they all have a lot to learn about, the details of varsity basketball, but hopefully they'll catch on pretty quick. And, And then we have a few other juniors that are going to, try to contribute and help us out too.
Coach, you mentioned that your team has many attributes, some good physical skills. One area, as you mentioned, they may be lacking in is a bit of some size. Tell us about making up that deficiency this year.
Well, part of it is, we're trying to play a little more full court defense, which is not something I've very seldom done. But if we just play half court and another team's a lot taller, they're just going to kind of like pass the ball around until they can get an angle to get it into a big guy. And we're hoping to kind of create more turnovers. And so if you can run the break a little bit, you can get, a couple of our games, we've been able to get about 28, 30 points in the paint, which is not easy to do when you're short. But if you can get some steals and if you can push the ball on transition a little bit more, we haven't always done that a ton. But because I don't like a lot of wild shots and quick shots from outside. And so there's always that, trade-off, I guess. But that's kind of the approach we're taking to kind of make up for that, is to try to out-quick people full court a little bit more defensively and then try to push the ball up offensively and try to utilize the depth we have.
Okay. Larry, any questions or comments you have for Coach Schmitt?
Well, the first game you played, Neillsville, I noticed in that game you played a physical game. Is that something you're going to possibly do to make up for the height that you don't have? Or
it's not something we talk about, be real physical where you're committing crazy fouls and stuff, but I think part of it is that's kind of where the game is. The game is just there's a lot of physicality, there's a lot of jamming up a little bit and a lot more moving screens and types of things like that I see a little bit more. So some people think that's being a little more physical. I think what we try to just harp on is just be tenacious, be aggressive, put ball pressure on the ball, but in no way, shape, or form do we try to advocate to turn it into a football game. And I know that's not what you're implying, but
no.
But I think we've always tried to just if you play tenaciously, it's going to be probably a hair more physical. But a lot of that is, when you post up, and there's always a lot of physical play, whether it's screening or cutting in the lane and getting kind of jammed up and those types of things. But the goal is play hard. Just play as hard as you can, and I think that's been a trademark of our teams defensively, is we do play hard, to make up for, some of the deficiencies that sometimes we have on offense.
You've been around the coach as a head coach for over 25 years now with Stratford, and you mentioned there's some things that you don't like to do. Do you find yourself now, as the game progresses, having to do some of those things? Like you mentioned, not full court pressure and transition game as much.
It's definitely not a philosophical. I always believe in make the other team, go against a set five. It's harder. The other team has to be more patient. Mm-hmm. They have to make good decisions, and that's not always easy to do at the half-court high school level. And anytime you pick up full court, you expose the floor, and the gaps are bigger, and all it takes is a pass. Pass is 10 times quicker than rotations. But if we can do it in a smart way, I think that's what we've been harping on, is trying to be strategic in how we do it without giving up layups. And I think overall we've been pretty good with it. We haven't unleashed it completely yet because of the learning curve, but we've been at least trying to pick up full court, use our depth. But I think the big thing you'll notice that you haven't maybe seen as much is how fast we're getting it up on offense. We're trying to get it up pretty fast, and everybody says that, and everybody talks about that, but that is something we're trying to do because, I have 9 players, 10 players, or whatever that I can play, 11, and try to utilize it the best you can and maybe wear out. Like we play Iola Scandinavia Friday night, and if you've seen their roster, they're 6'6", 6'5", 6'4". That's going to be a challenge, and so you're hoping to outquick them and make sure they have a good point guard that can handle things, perhaps. But that's kind of the approach that we're taking, and I could. Pull the plug on it and, don't like it because I can't stand giving up easy baskets.
The Merriwood South Marathon has been, the top dog there for a few years now. How do you see that shaping up this year? I know Auburndale's looks like they're pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean we've competed pretty hard every year with each other, and we've had our times where things have gone real well for us, and Auburndale has too. And just a few years ago, Edgar had a nice season after our 2020 group. And Assumption's always up. They always got some good skilled athletes, and Edgar does too. And Newman won a state title 2 years ago already, whatever that was. And they have a couple really good guards that I think are coming back or have come back already. I think it'll be a dogfight. I really do. It's going to come down to the hardest part of coaching basketball is you don't know what you're going to get every night. You could shoot 20% and another team could be sizzling. Last night we played Athens, and Athens is a well-coached team, and they have some skilled players, and we shot 50%, and we made 9 three-pointers. So if those don't go in, now you're going to have one of those nights where you got to figure out how to win a different way. So it'll be a dogfight like it always is.
Gene, one of the things I've noticed just on the few coaches that we've had here so far, the conferences are going to be pretty competitive.
I think they are, yeah.
And don't forget the North. I mean, the North is much improved too in the Merriwood. I mean, we won by 2 against a pretty good Prentice team last week. Last week Friday, whatever it was, 68-66, and it's like they had some guys that could really put that ball in the hole from a distance, and they had some good length. And, we had some foul trouble. Those are those things you talk about where things don't go your way. You got to figure out different ways to win, and you just hope to get out alive.
All right, Coach, thanks for coming by. Once again, your ball club back in action on Friday night at Iola Scandinavia. Good luck in that one and throughout the season.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
Stratford Tiger basketball coach Curt Schmitt joining us on our boys basketball preview program from Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield. We'll check in with Spencer coach Charles Jennings following these messages.
High school sports is being brought to you by
A&B Process Systems has been a proud member of the Stratford community since 1973. You can find your next career in engineering, welding, and more at A&B Process Systems. Our campus also includes our exclusive Factory Acceptance Testing Center with full-service testing capabilities to ensure that your equipment will perform to your expectations. Visit A&B Process Systems on Facebook today for more information. The Sports Den, located on Marshfield's sunny south side since 1975. The Sports Den has the area's best selection of outdoor equipment. Find top brands of snowshoes, cross-country and downhill skis, snowboards, swimming equipment, skateboards, and more. The Sports Den has a full-service bike repair center along with top bike brands, Specialized, Trek, and others. The Sports Den is Central Wisconsin's Fat Bike headquarters. Visit the Sports Den in Marshfield Monday through Saturday and thesportsden.net.
Do you need a good night's sleep? Well, welcome to the club, and welcome to Mall Furniture.
Mall Furniture always has a huge selection of quality Comfort Sleep mattresses. They're double-sided, adjustable bed-friendly, and made right here in Wisconsin.
Whether you need beauty sleep, deep sleep, or just need to sleep it off, you'll be sleeping like a baby on the perfect Comfort Sleep mattress from Mall Furniture. Head to Mall, because we got them all.
Mall Furniture and Mattress, West 9th Street, Marshfield.
Good day. My name is Ken Hyman, and welcome to Neillsville Dairy here in central Wisconsin, Marshfield, Wisconsin, as a matter of fact. We make a lot of different cheeses. We make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmer's Cheese, Peach Cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Fear, Seco, Parm, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Caflateri, Cafla Graviera, 20 different flavors of Monterey, as well as making Edam, Gouda, and Munster. And the cheese be with you.
Central Avenue in Marshfield for our boys basketball preview program. Several boys basketball games in central Wisconsin on Thursday. One contest in the CWC South matches Allman-Bancroft at Pittsville. That's a 6 o'clock start in Pittsville tomorrow evening. One game also tomorrow in the Merriwood North. Abbotsford plays at Newman. And in some non-conference boys games tomorrow, Athens at Nakusa and Goodman-Pembine is at Shawamigan. Spencer High School boys basketball coach Charles Jennings now joins us on our boys basketball preview program. Coach, thanks for coming by and welcome to our program this evening.
Yes, thanks for having us.
And this is your second year as boys basketball coach at Spencer High School. I imagine it's a bit easier this year than it was a year ago.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit easier. Still working hard at trying to change the program and get the culture in Spencer for basketball changed. So it's usually, I don't know, it's not the first sport that people like there, I don't think. So we're working on it, though, trying to get more fans.
Well, tell us about some of the areas where you have noticed some improvement or some better things in the program.
Yeah, so I think, this year defensively we were a little better than we were last year. Offensively, last year we had put in a new offense, and this year, of course, we're not having to teach it. We're just getting better at it, so I think that helps. Those are probably the two main things. We got to work on our help defense, though. That's something we're always trying to work on there.
So how was the start of the season going for the Spencer Ball Club?
It was going good until last night. Columbus got the best of us last night. We could have done some things better, and props to them for pulling out the victory. So,
how about the other ball games so far this season?
We started off with Shawamagon, and then played Northern Lutheran, and then Thorpe. Those were our first three games. I don't know, it seems like we got off to slow starts in those games, but ended up doing fine. Shawamagon's got a good ball player, Cooper Mikulski, that he's a junior and really good. Came out on top on that one, and then played well against Northern Lutheran. I think Northern Lutheran put up 82 points 2 games ago, and then Shawamagon, I think they lost by 3 to Marathon. So, we're still trying to figure out, okay, where are we, and, in terms of the teams we played. So.
Okay. Well, tell us about some of the young men in your program this year and where they fit in for you.
Yeah, so we've got 3 seniors, Drake Johnson, Madden Probilski, and Tyler Peterson, all good ball handlers, guards for us. Tyler can play the forward spot as well. We've got Sam Beslick, of course, returning starter. Wes Neiman. We got Mathers McClone. We have a foreign exchange student, Ben Feldner, who's learning American basketball, I guess. He's from Germany, so a little different there. And then, let's see here. Trying to think. I should have brought some papers like the other guys did. I know we had a couple guys playing up from JV, Clay Neiman and Oliver Young. Bracken Miller is another returning player. Gets pretty good amount of minutes. Probably gets more too. Gosh, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. We got 9, 10, 11 with the JV. So, I don't know. We got a lot of guys that are dual threats. They can shoot from outside and they can get to the rim. Rebounding is pretty decent. Noah Anderson is another returning starter for us. He's probably been the most improved player the last 2 years. Puts in a lot of work. Plays pretty good defense. Can shoot from outside, and he finishes strong too. So it's nice to have those options. It's tough being a coach, and then there's only so many minutes in a game, and you can only start 5 guys. So you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. But I think the team's playing together very well this year. They seem to be playing for each other, which is great. And they're supportive of each other as players, so that's another bonus.
Are there some areas where this ball club looks pretty strong this year?
Well, yeah. I think our post play is very good, and when teams decide to defend our post, we can kick it out and we can shoot from outside. So, I'm comfortable playing inside out this year, and I think the guys are too. We just need to pass out to double teams and take that shot when it's there. Maybe not dribble so much.
I think, Coach, one aspect you wanted to improve in Spencer was the number situation. How's that look in Spencer these days?
We've got 20 kids out for basketball. We had one player from last year that wasn't sure if he wanted to play or not, and then said he was missing it, wanted to give it a try, and didn't miss it that much. So he's no longer playing, he said. So, but yeah, I mean, we got 20 out. I wish we could have a C team, get 30 players out, but right now it's not happening. So hopefully in the upcoming years we'll get more guys out.
Larry, any questions or comments you have for Coach Jennings?
You got to be happy with having a kid like Beslick back for you. I mean, he's having an awesome season already here in the first few games.
Yeah, Sam puts in a lot of work. It's a good basketball family to come from. Jack, his older brother, plays with him a lot, and he plays daily. And it's not just for an hour. So he's out there working hard, and he's been working with other guys on the team too, and he just loves to play basketball. And I love that about him. I think he makes a lot of the other players better, and not only on the court but off the court too. He makes them work hard, and the other players, they want to work hard, get better. So
the conference, you had Columbus Catholic already in the Clover Belt. How do you see that shaping up this year, and where do you guys think you're going to fit in?
Gosh,
it's going to be tough, I think.
I think it's tough, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Neillsville lost 11 seniors, and I think Columbus lost 9. So, I mean, Columbus state champions, they're losing 9 guys. They're not going to be the same team. I don't think anybody would expect them to be, but they're well coached. They're going to go out there and play their hearts out. I'll give props to one of their players here, and I talked to him last night after the game and told him how good a job he did and whatnot. But Sam Dooms, I mean, probably not the most athletic kid in the world, but my gosh, he's got a heart to play ball.
Yeah.
And he's one of those role players, and I think every team needs those role players. But he had 8 offensive rebounds. That was more than our team. That doesn't make me happy either.
No, probably not.
No, so I mean, and then Neillsville losing 11 players. They're trying to find themselves, I think. Owen Withy lost a couple big players, some of their bigs. So we'll see how that pans out. They like to press a lot, so I'm sure they're going to get up and run. Colby, same thing. They like to get up and run. Some good players there too. Obviously Columbus. Who am I missing? Oh, Loyal. They're probably the team to beat. They got a good group coming back. But I expect us to be right in the mix. We lost a tough one by 6 to Columbus. There's things we could have done better, like offensive rebound. I think we had 16 turnovers to their 15, so it's not where I want it to be. Didn't meet the goal on that one that night, but I think as the year goes on, I expect it to be a battle for all the teams.
So what's going to be the key for your team to be successful in this conference?
I'll say stay healthy, for one. We're dealing with a little bit of that right now. I think the more our foreign exchange student gets more familiar with how we're playing ball, if it were open gym ball, I think, turn the horses loose and let them run.
Is he a tall kid, or?
He's 6'5".
Okay.
He's only 16 years old. He's a sophomore. But solid build and athletic, good shooter. He can shoot from outside too. Very good around the post finishing. The fouls are catching up to him right now, but he's learning each game. And we're not making it easy on him. I mean, we had him on Carter last night, Carter Summer. I think Carter's one of the better players on Columbus, offensively especially. And, it's a tough task, for a bigger 6'5" guy and whatnot. So, yeah, see how it goes.
All right, Coach.
Coach, how does your coaching staff look for this year?
It's just myself and Coach Ben Martin. We kind of chuckle about it because some of these teams, they have like 5 coaches plus the head coach, and we kind of look at each other like, wow, that'd be nice. But we don't have that in Spencer, so we make do with just the two of us, and we do have a team manager, Adrian Schmitt, that helps us out a little bit. So that's what we have, so that's what we work with.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming by this evening, and good luck this year.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks for having us.
Spencer High School basketball coach Charles Jennings. His ball club returns to action on Friday night facing the Loyal Greyhounds at the Spencer Dome on Friday evening at 7:15. By the way, if you want to hear some basketball coaches talk tomorrow night, you can do so on WDLB and WOSQ. Marquette men's basketball coach Shaka Smart joins us for Marquette Thursdays tomorrow, 6 p.m. on AM 1450 and FM 98.7 WDLB. In addition, Wisconsin Badger men's basketball coach Greg Gard with us for the Greg Gard Show right here on WOSQ tomorrow at 6:05. Shaka Smart on WDLB and Greg Gard on WOSQ on Thursday evening. Well, once again, looks like the Auburndale High School boys basketball team will be a pretty strong ball club this year. We'll get the lowdown on Eagles basketball from Coach Chad Weinfurter as our boys basketball coaches program continues from Nutz Deep 2 in Marshfield, following these messages.
High school sports.
It just makes sense. Mittens carries higher quality furniture from all of your favorite brands because we want you to be proud of your space.
It just makes sense. Mittens carries all of your favorite appliance brands so we can save you money on the products you trust.
It just makes sense that Mittens services what we sell because we want your home to be comfortable and run smoothly.
It just makes sense. Central Wisconsin has shopped at Mittens since 1938 because we have it all.
After a couple years of a job that doesn't fit, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That is where Mid-State Technical College comes in. Would cooking be a good fit? Try on a career in welding. Perhaps the outdoors suits you better. Or maybe helping people is a better fit. No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options, making Mid-State the perfect fit.
Hi, I'm Shad from Next Step Prosthetics. 5 years ago, we opened our practice to provide life-changing prosthetics that are both comfortable and functional.
I would definitely recommend Shai.
Shai is very compassionate, caring.
We've grown to serve patients throughout Wisconsin. We want to thank them, their families, and providers who have trusted us on their journey.
Go to Next Step, because it's going to change your life.
Why wait another day? Call to set up a free, no-obligation evaluation. Let us take the next step together towards a better life.
Little Sprouts Learning Garden with 2 convenient central Wisconsin locations. Here's Brooke Sievers to tell us about it.
Little Sprouts has been around for almost 7 years here in Auburndale. In Rudolph, we've been open for about 2.5. We serve here in Auburndale. We have 6 weeks old up until 12-year-olds. And then in Rudolph, we have 1-year-olds up until 12-year-olds. The biggest thing that we do with them is we have play-based learning so that they learn through play with each other. And social skills are a huge part of what we do with them.
Find Little Sprouts Learning Garden on Facebook today.
Basketball coaches program from Nutz Deep 2 in Marshfield on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, Spencer Marshfield, and WOSQFM.com, as well as ZaleskiSports.com. With Larry Hazer and Jason Zaleski, I'm Gene Delisio. Our program tonight brought to us by Astor Assisted Living Center on Chestnut Avenue in Marshfield. The very best assisted living, convenient, comfortable, and secure lifestyle. Visit AstorSeniorCommunities.com for more information. Auburndale High School boys basketball coach Chad Weinfurter joining us now on our Basketball Coaches Show. Coach, thanks for coming by and welcome to our program for this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And fill us in, if you would, on the start of your season, what things look like for Auburndale basketball so far this year.
Well, we've had a lot of talented players the last couple of years that have graduated, and so a lot of guys are stepping up to new roles. We've got 3 guys with some experience from last year, 2 guys that started last year, Thomas Owie and Blake Rabb. And right now those are our 2 linchpins, and we're bringing the other guys along. Peyton Weinfurter played a little bit last year towards the end of the season, a big role for us at the end of the regular season into the playoffs. So he's another starting guard for us. And then Josh Lundgren, a junior guard, and Keegan Empey, a senior guard, have also stepped in. So we gotten off to a nice start, 3 very competitive games, starting off with the overtime game against Colby. and then, of course, the last 2 games against Abbey and Columbus. So it's been a real pleasant surprise with how our guys have stepped up and filled their roles.
You know, the Auburndale program, known for using a system that has been ingrained in the program for many years, does that make the transition for a young man coming into the program a bit easier, as it would be this year?
I think so. I think anytime you have continuity, even when you change maybe philosophies a little bit or you tweak your offense or defense, they they still have that expectation of, you know, where we want to be, you know, conference-wise, where they when they come into a certain role, how we want to defend. Yeah, all those tenets pretty much stay the same year to year.
And how about some things you feel that the ball club can do pretty well this year?
Well, I do think we're pretty quick, so we are pressuring the ball a little bit more. We don't have as much size as we had in the past. You know, graduating the 2 Cadens last year, Caden Anderson, who played really well inside, and Caden Weinfurter, my son, who was a 6'7", you know, sniper from out wide. We protected the rim pretty well last year. So this year, we've got to be a little more aggressive on the ball and you know, use our quickness to keep guys out of the lane and really be a better rebounding team. You know, last summer when we played, you know, a couple tournaments in our league, it was a struggle to get our rebounding with how small we were. And so at the start of the year, something we really emphasized, and the kids have been doing a great job with it. You know, the other night we out-rebounded Columbus. I think it was 30-14, which was a big surprise with how athletic they are. So I think that's one thing, you know, the rebounding, that's really been a key for us.
Tell us about utilizing that quickness this year and how that will help you this season.
Well, you know, starting with like Peyton and Blake as our 2 real quick guards out front, just pressuring the ball handler, not necessarily trapping and things like that, but just trying to wear down that other team as the game goes on. And then if there's some opportunities where you can, you know, do a little jump trapping here and there, we'll do that. Keegan Empey is a tremendously quick, athletic kid. It's just trying to get his athleticism under control. And the nice thing is we've got Thomas Howie, who's about 6'7", 6'8", back there protecting the rim. So these guys can maybe take a few more risks out on the perimeter, knowing that he's there, and it's tough to score over him at the rim. So it's really about putting pressure on the ball. You know, sometimes you can adjust your defense a little bit when you've got that big guy behind him.
You, from time to time, have had a post presence in your program. Tell us about utilizing Thomas this year and how it affects your ball club.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you're just hoping that post player can rebound and defend and you know, make layups. Well, Thomas has been asked to do a little bit more this year, so he's a little more active in the post than what maybe we've had with some of the other guys in the past. I just think the everyday practice for a kid like him, it really helps. He's developed, you know, a nice little jump hook. He's got he can put the ball on the floor a little bit now, and he can just turn and shoot over guys. And sometimes, you know, when you're 6'8", that's all you have to do is just turn and shoot over a guy and use that backboard. And you know, especially he had a fantastic game against Abbotsford, and we're just looking for a little more consistency out of him.
How about some other young men on your ball club you'd like to mention who will play big roles for you this year?
Well, our 6th man right now is basically our 6th starter, Aiden Rabb, who's another senior. Aiden always seems to be in the right place at the right time, makes really good basketball decisions. So it's really nice to be able to bring a guy off the bench that you know there's not going to be any drop-off. And then we've got another senior, James Norby, who's one of our backup post players. He's about 6'5". And then we have some sophomores. Ray Teska, who had a really nice year as a backup, you know, halfback in football and a D-back there, and he's got some experience for us. Quick as a wink out there, not the biggest guy. And then Jackson Gruby, in a long line of Grubies that have come through the Auburndale program, is another sophomore who has helped us out, and just trying to get those guys comfortable at the varsity level. You know, the minutes have been a little inconsistent at the beginning of the year here, trying to get those guys into spots where they're not put under too much pressure. That's been a challenge so far, but if we can develop that 7th and 8th guy, I think we'll really have a nice rotation.
Coach, I do want to ask about Blake Rabb, who perhaps is more known to people in this area for his baseball and football skills, but tell us about what he does for the basketball court.
You know, Blake is just one of those athletes that whatever sport he's playing, he's going to be the most competitive guy in the field. You know, I had the good fortune of coaching him in football for a couple years, coaching him in baseball for the last 3 years. Our families are very close. The boys in our family are very close with the boys in their family, and we know their mom and dad really well. And Blake's one of those kids. I know I can coach him. Using logic. I know I can get on him a little bit. Like the halftime of the Columbus game, he and Matt Koneiczny were really going at it. 2 baseball teammates from the Legion this summer, and they were fighting it out like brothers out there. And I just told Blake, I said, are we going to let this go and just play? And he did. He came out in the second half and played fantastic. He's a confident shooter. He's one of those kids, when the ball's in his hands, as a coach, you can kind of take a little bit of a breath because you know he's going to make the right decision all the time. So, it's hard to believe he's a senior already, but he's been a pleasure to coach.
Larry, anything you have for Coach Weinfurter?
Well, you talked about it earlier with Stratford and how important, the football season success there, and you read off some of these names, and a lot of those names are familiar from the football team as well. How does that carry over now into the basketball season?
Well, you
talked about Blake.
Different coaches have different philosophies on that. I just love our kids playing other sports and being competitive. Getting coached by other people, using different skills. I think there's a real thing to that burnout. I wouldn't want my players playing basketball year-round. Obviously you want them, the summers when you got to use that time to improve, and you want them hungry and ready for basketball, but I've coached the other 2 sports, at least football and baseball, and I think it's just hugely important to experience that. And you find out, some kids, their favorite might be football, their favorite might be baseball, but in a small school, you need those guys to help your program out. And then it's the same thing when you have a basketball player, and they're like, well, I don't know if I should play football or baseball or run track or whatever it may be, and it's like, yeah, go do it. Go do it. Because I want you to be competitive. I want you to go compete against other people. And I think for the most part, we've had a lot of that at Auburndale, and I think it's very beneficial.
Do you see any of the sports trying to grab the other guys more than the other sport?
No, we've been really, Coach Anderson, who I've coached with since I've been at Auburndale, he was a mentor for me. I'm talking Jay now. Coached with him. We're very good at setting up those summer schedules where we're not trying to pull them too many different ways, and it really works out well. I know sometimes that's not always the case at small schools, and they kind of butt heads, and we really wanted to avoid that because we want our numbers up in all these sports, and I think it's worked out pretty well that way.
We've been talking about these conferences and how competitive they are. The Marywood South looks like it's going to be competitive again this year.
Yeah, we've played 2 Clover Belt teams already. We played a Marywood North team. All the local conferences, I think, the small school conferences are really very competitive. There aren't too many nights where you go in thinking, I think this, be a 20-point win tonight. That's just not the way it's going to be. I don't think probably the ceiling of our conference is as high as it's been. We lost a lot of talent.
Right.
The last, like I said, even our program, Marathon, Stratford, Edgar, and you can go down the list, but it's still competitive. Like, kids are going to compete, and the thing is, I know in our conference, as well as the other local conferences, there's really good coaches too. So that at the beginning of the season, you might have some rough edges, but eventually as the season goes on, it's just going to get better and better. And I think that's really exciting for our area because you'll see it in the tournaments then too.
And non-conference as well. I mean, You're playing teams from around this area,
Absolutely.
which are really good.
Well, and I think, so we played, Colby and Columbus already, and I think we have Neillsville over break, and we played Loyal in February, so we've got 4 of the best teams in the Clover Belt East right there, and I think that's just a benefit and you see different styles because there's different styles in every conference in different areas too, and it's a good thing we don't have to travel far. The bus rides are nice and short too, so then you don't have to worry about traveling too far to get good competition.
Gene?
How about your coaching staff for this year, Coach?
Coaching staff remains unchanged from last year. I've got Cooper Weinfurter and Mike Gerke helping me out at the varsity level, and then Matt Clawetter and Josh Van Schoik are doing the JV and JV2, and it's something that happens a little more and more at small schools where you see guys coming back to help their alma maters out. We're all graduates from Auburndale. We all have a lot of pride in the program. And 2 of them played for me, and then the other 3 we all played for Coach Anderson. So the continuity is really good.
All right, and you're back in action on Friday against a very good Phillips ball club.
Yeah, they're undefeated right now. I've seen all 3 of their games. Coach Ring up there, she does a great job. They're always competitive. They're one of the most aggressive teams you're going to play. I mean, they attack the basket and they attack the rebounding like very few teams we're going to see. So that's going to be a great test for us. And, the North teams count as a conference game, so we're looking to go 2-0 in conference.
And the North is, as we've heard on the program from Coach Schmitt, the North certainly has improved in the last couple of years.
Yeah, there used to be a bit of a gap there between the South and the North, and I think that's closed a little bit this year. They've got a lot of talented kids up there. The Prentice squad is really good. Schwamigan's got a kid who's unbelievably athletic, and it just goes on and on. So, once again, a lot of competition on our schedule.
All right, well, Coach, good luck tomorrow night or Friday night, and good luck throughout the season.
All right, appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Auburndale High School basketball coach Chad Weinfurter with us on our boys basketball preview program from Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield. Coming up next, Loyal basketball coach Brandon DeSmet. So please stay with us here on WOSQ and on ZaleskiSports.com.
Little Sprouts Learning Garden with 2 convenient central Wisconsin locations. Here's Brooke Sievers to tell us about it.
Little Sprouts has been around for almost 7 years here in Auburndale. In Rudolph, we've been open for about 2.5. We serve here in Auburndale, we have 6 weeks old up until 12-year-olds. And then in Rudolph, we have 1-year-olds up until 12-year-olds. The biggest thing that we do with them is we have play-based learning so that they learn through play with each other. And social skills are a huge part of what we do with them.
Find Little Sprouts Learning Garden on Facebook today.
Good day. My name is Ken Hyman, and welcome to Neillsville Dairy here in central Wisconsin, Marshfield, Wisconsin, as a matter of fact. We make a lot of different cheeses. We make cheddar, Colby, Monterey, Farmer's Cheese, Pizza Cheese, Quesa Blanca, Quesa de Fir, Seco, Parm, Romano, Asiago, Fontina, Feta Caseri, Caflateri, Cafla Graviera, 20 different flavors of Monterey, as well as making Edam, Gouda, and Munster. And the cheese be with you.
Bauer & Feind has been based in Marshfield since 1955. And if you're in business that long, you're obviously doing many things right. We always focus on selling world-class products, backing it up with world-class customer support.
Working with Bauer & Feind Business Technologies has been a pleasure. We have staff on call that we can call if we ever have issues, and the printer usability has been really easy, user-friendly.
Give us a call, visit our website. We'd be happy to come in, talk to you. Maybe there's a way we can help you save some money and work more efficiently.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Back at Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield for our boys basketball preview program tonight on WOSQ and also on ZaleskiSports.com. Speaking of Zaleski Sports, once again, that Neillsville-Columbus boys basketball game on Friday night. That will be seen on ZaleskiSports.com along with the Marshfield Tiger game at DC Everest starting at 7:15. Also, Loyal and Spencer boys basketball on Friday evening. Again, on ZaleskiSports.com. Speaking of Loyal basketball coach Brandon DeSmet now joining us on our boys basketball preview program. Coach, thanks for coming by and welcome to our program for this evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Looking forward to talk some basketball with you guys.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that. And let's talk about the start of your season and how things have gone for the Loyal Greyhounds so far this year.
Well, we've had a fast start. We've had a couple really close games with Edgar and Colby and Almond Bancroft, and fortunately, we've had the ball bounce our way a couple times and off to a good start. Like I said, just we're sitting 4-0 right now, but there's a long way to go. It's a long season.
What have you seen from your ball club so far this year that you really appreciate?
Well, I think the first and the most important thing is I love how much of a team they are together. Like, they really, truly love each other. They like being around each other, and they enjoy each other's company. And you can't find success if you're not willing to be selfless and enjoy each other. On top of that, the basketball thing, I think the biggest thing that these guys have done this year is embraced the competitive spirit, whether it's in practice or in games. And and they're constantly getting after it. And that's been crucial in our game so far.
Now, Loyal basketball has not been one of the state powerhouses over the years and for a long time, but you do have some people who think you're a pretty good ball club this year. What does that mean to you to see the way the program has developed and really matured the last couple of years?
Well, that's a credit to the people that have come before these players, because it takes seniors that have come and gone through the program that want it to be better for those after them. And whether or not they were winning or losing games, we had guys that constantly, wanted to play the game the right way, fundamentally sound. They wanted to play and guard as best they could. And that kind of stuff gets passed down, and they built a really good foundation that for when you have some really athletic players and some talent and some opportunities, that they can build upon a great foundation. And so I'd credit so many of those guys and seniors that have come before these guys now that are playing that when I first started. And hopefully, that the guys appreciate that the work that they're putting in themselves now is gathering respect, and they deserve that.
All right. How about telling us about some of the young men on your team and what they'll do for you this year?
Well, we got 2 seniors on the team this year, Parker Smith and Aaron Radu, and both play throughout the game in different forms. And Parker didn't get to play last year going through an injury, but he's a really great defensive player. He has got a motor that never stops and turns off, and that in itself, other players around just do that because of how aggressive and competitive he is. And then we got some juniors that have played a lot of basketball since their freshman year on our team, whether it was Kane Tofar, Reed Stiglitz, and Bryce Deegan. Some other juniors that played a lot last year that are with us now, like Hunter Walter and Joe Treffinger. Carson Bremer's a new guy coming in from the JV team last year that's looking to make some opportunities. Then we have a couple sophomores that are playing really well too. Rhett Lamovic played a lot as a freshman the second half of the year, and Carson Prine has just gotten better every single practice and throughout the summer and through his freshman year, now going into his sophomore year.
So a lot of respect in your program for this year, even though you have a very young team, only 2 seniors on the ball club. So
yes.
that must be very pleasing as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's exciting, and again, I love, we're talking about sophomores, juniors, and seniors all playing, and that sometimes isn't easy to get all those guys to gel and mesh and respect and want what's best for each other. And these guys do such an incredible job of that, and it makes the basketball part of things easier because they want to be with each other.
What about some of the strengths on this year's ball club?
Well, offensively, we got a lot of size, a lot of physicality, and we've done a really great job of getting on the offensive glass. I think in the 4 games we've played, our Almond Bancroft, we were +3 offensive rebounds, and I think the other games after that we might have been +10 in every game with that. And I don't think we've lost the rebound battle yet, and that's been crucial, holding teams to 1 shot and then finding extra shots for yourself. On top of that, I think we got some really nice guard play that we can play inside out. Reed Stiglitz and Bryce Deegan are both returning all-conference players from last year, and they do a great job handling the ball and facilitating and making plays for themselves, but also others on our team. From our post players, they've done an outstanding job this year. Kane Tofar is just improving every single year and every single day, and he's off to the best start he's had in his 3 years. Rhett Lamovic and Hunter Walter complement him so well in the post, and they too are really building their post game, behind the basket game, and now they're starting to develop some jump shots and 15-footers. That's really starting to stretch their game as well.
How are you utilizing some of this athleticism and speed on the defensive end?
Well, we've been playing all man. We've basically played man my entire time since I've come here, and a lot of that starts with if you got a guy like Parker Smith, I'll bring him up again, that just goes nonstop on the defensive end, and then you've got others that just want to follow and do that. And I think that some of these guys, when they were younger, it was hard to want to trust your defensive ability because you didn't want to get beat or get burned. But now as they're getting older, they're seeing that they can do it, and it's really a mindset, and these guys are really starting to buy into that.
Okay, let's bring in Larry for some comments or questions for Coach DeSmet. Larry?
Well, Coach, my son, is a junior, and he's been around these kids, your team, for a long time, growing up in the youth basketball and all the way through, and it's a talented team you got this year.
Thank you.
But you have a luxury that other teams in the conference don't have, and that's a lot of players back.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of teams that have a bunch of kids that graduated last year, so it's got to be a little easier for you coming into this season.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is, knowing that you've got a lot of playing time and a lot of experience coming back. Just in terms of, like, they know the expectations in practice. They move through drills and things well. And now they're just growing in terms of building their game playing with each other. All that kind of stuff takes time. It takes games being played. And now that they're in, just 4 games this year, but these guys played 26 last year together. Some of them then as freshmen played another 26 that year, and all that just keeps growing and developing, and they get a feel for each other, and it's really starting to show on the court.
I see Loyal with 2 L's on WisSports.net is ranked 7th this week. Division 5 poll. Any pressure on your team now with all this outside? Everybody's talking about Loyal this year.
Well, I guess, the thing that I have tried to stress, and I think that is just incredibly important, is that, and I hope that, and I think the guys are buying into that, is that you can have those expectations, and I guess those are the expectations you would want, right? You would want people to believe in you. You want people to have that kind of respect for you, and think really highly of your program, and that's a great thing. And I hope they appreciate that and gain confidence from just seeing the fruits of their labor. But the most important thing that we stress with them single day is that whether you win or lose the basketball game, are you the hardest working, are you the most competitive, are you the most fundamentally sound team? And at the end of the day, if a team's able to beat you while you still did all those things really well, like, you'll tip your cap to them. And they've done that so well. We've talked a lot about, too, something that I've said to them a lot going through this year is that, tomorrow's greatest fear was today's success. And, what are you going to start doing? What are you going to continue to do at practice? Remembering what got you to this point, that you got that kind of ranking. You've got that kind of people saying those really good things about you. And you can't lose sight of the little things that you've done really well, and that those have to continue to be done. And we'll continue to try to do that.
I know the conference, the coaches have said Columbus Catholic up there, but the ones that have come through here so far have said Loyal may be the team to beat in the Eastern Clore Belt this year.
Well, that's saying a lot coming from some of these coaches that have done an outstanding job. And obviously Columbus speaks for itself, and they were the Division 5 state champions last year, and I know they lost a lot, but you see the way they started the year, and the teams that they've lost to are really good programs, and they just keep going and growing. And I know they're young, but they'll be playing their best games really soon as they go forward. And Neillsville's constantly always been there, and I know that they lost some seniors, but then you watch them go and play Alma Center Lincoln, who's state ranked in Division 5, and they got a tight game with them. They're playing Stratford, and they play a great game with them. And Owen Withey is off to a really hot start, and we just played Colby last night, and Colby's just incredibly athletic, and they got 2 really good guards that really make you, play in good gaps and play good on-ball defense. It's an incredibly challenging conference, and we're looking forward just to have the opportunity to compete in it.
We talked about the players. What about the coaching staff? How much pressure is on you guys going into this season now?
No, I don't know if pressure is the right word. I think it's just that I think we've got to keep in the back of our mind that the most important thing is that we enjoy our opportunity to be with these kids, enjoy the opportunity and the relationships that we're building with them. And those are the things when the year's over and 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, like, those are the things that last, and continuing to build those and enjoy those is the most important thing.
And the rest takes care of itself.
Hope so.
Gene?
Coach, how about your coaching staff for this year?
Well, we have Coach Stiglitz returning. He's been on the staff since I've been there, and he was on the staff the previous 2 people before me, and he's been a mainstay for a long time, and he does a great job wanting to do all the little things and always being at practice. Coach Bogdanovich, who was the coach before me, has come back on staff, and he's working with our freshman C-team level program, and he does a really nice job on the bench during varsity games. Just, he's been there, he's done that, and he's like, okay, Coach, we got these timeouts here. When do you think you want to call them? Or when you want this sub coming in, think about this player. And so that's awesome having that experience, that round. And then joining him is Cameron Brousseau, and we've been incredibly lucky that he's come back and wants to get back to his program. And the guys he's been incredibly awesome with our players. They gravitate to him, and they want to hear his stories from when he played at UW Stout and when he played in the conference and what it was like for him. And he shares so many great experiences with them, and I'm so thankful he reached out that he wanted to come back, and we're so glad he's here.
Well, that's good to hear. Coach, before we let you go, I'm going to get some comments from you on not as a loyal basketball coach, but as a Columbus High School graduate, former standout, what that state championship last season meant to you.
I'm really happy for the program, really happy for Coach K. He was my coach throughout all of high school, and the amount of work that he puts in. And I know he'll give the credit to where credit is deserved, but he deserves so much himself, and I'm so proud for him. And obviously they went through so much difficulties last year and struggles with different things outside the court that you never want to see, and the way they rebounded and just rebounded from it, and it's just it's proud. I'm proud that I was part of it, and I was really happy to be there to watch them do that.
Well, Coach, again, congratulations on your great success. Your next ball game at Spencer Friday night. Good luck in that one and throughout the season.
Thank you.
Spencer, our Loyal High School boys basketball coach, Brandon DeSmet, joining us on our boys basketball coaches program from Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield. And Neillsville coach Mike Gaier joins us following these messages.
Meet your friends at Schmitty's on Main. Schmitty's on Main is open Tuesday through Sunday with daily specials for breakfast, lunch, and their Friday night fish fry. Sunday lunch always features Schmitty's signature chicken dinner. Let Schmitty's cater your next event or ask them about their banquet hall. Stop by Schmitty's today. You'll never be disappointed or go away hungry. Call a friend and make plans to meet at Schmitty's on Main, 436 Hewitt Street in Neillsville.
Is it time to replace your old gutters? Call Schwartz Seamless Gutters and protect your home with new seamless technology. No seams, no leaks. With free estimates in 2 days or less and workmanship guaranteed, our service is as seamless as our gutters.
Come to Russell's of Neillsville for all your design service needs. From cabinets to countertops, appliances to flooring, our design specialist is here to design and plan your kitchen or bath space. Stop in and see our design team today.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Anytime at TirusDisposal.com or dial 715-660-2366. Tires Disposal, construction waste disposal dumpsters. 4 sizes, 1 color, purple. Visit TirusDisposal.com.
You're listening to our boys basketball preview program from Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield on Sports Radio 92.3 FM, WOSQ, and WOSQFM.com, as well as ZaleskiSports.com. With Jason Zaleski and Larry Hazer, I'm Gene Delisio. Our next guest is the Neillsville High School boys basketball coach, Mike Gaier, and certainly Larry, an expert on Neillsville basketball. So, Larry, we'll turn things over to you, and let you start out with Coach Gaier this evening.
I don't know about an expert, but yeah. I don't need many notes here.
Right.
Last year at this time, we were talking about how you were going to implement 11 seniors into your program, and this year they're not there, so now you got a whole new program except for one starter returning. How are things been going so far in the first few games?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I thought about last year at this time when I was here, and we talked about how we had a lot of seniors but not with a lot of experience.
Right.
And I feel like it's an interesting year because it's been a while, in Neillsville since we've had a team that we can grow for a couple years. Looking back to when Andrew Brown was a junior, we had Andrew Brown and Big Mason Renz and Santana Supke, so we had to play a lot of post play. And then those two big guys left, so it was Andrew Brown without post play. And so that was a whole new system. And then when he left, we had all those seniors, and that was a whole new system. And now they left, and we again have to get a whole new system. So it'll be kind of a fun project here as we move forward. Trying to grow and do our best this year, but really looking at a 2-year process of growing into ourselves and our new systems and our new style of play and everything we're trying to do, as we have a ton of young kids and a pretty small group of seniors. We look forward to the growth that we're going to see this year.
What about those players? Talk about some of those guys that are going to be major parts for you this year.
Yeah, you got to start with Andrew Hazer. He was our leading scorer last year as a sophomore on the team full of seniors. The sophomore came out as the leading scorer. I talked to Andrew about that with this young group, he's going to have to be the best player on the floor on both teams every game in order to give us a chance. And that's a big project for him. We're trying to develop different ways of scoring. And Andrew's a different quote-unquote superstar than what we've had in Neillsville in the past, in that in his previous 2 years, he hasn't been a guy that created his own shots. When you look at Alex King, Braden Trunkle, Drew Brown, those guys could really create their own. Andrew comes off screens and shoots the ball really well, but off the dribble, he doesn't explode by people like those other guys did. So we're working on different ways for him to create his own shots, as well as the team working to get him open, as I assume that teams are very much going to be pinpointing him this year and not letting him touch the ball. So we have to get pretty creative in how to get him some looks that they don't want him to get. So. And
you have some other guys that are coming up now. I know you got a freshman as your point guard.
We do. Landon Regshaw, first-year guy, is a freshman. Every day in practice, we talk about that we have a 4'8", 12-year-old running our team, and he reminds me he's not 12, but he's darn close. So the growing pains that come with that. I think he had about 4 fast breaks against Stratford in the first game where he fell over and did a couple somersaults on his way to a layup, just because he's faster than what he can dribble. But a super talented kid as far as his speed and quickness and ball handling ability. He just has to get accustomed to the speed of a varsity game, and I have no doubt he will. He'll be a very special player for us in the years to come. But as I was talking to the other coaches there, and what we've told Landon is we're going to have to go through a lot of growing pains, because never once in my career have I asked a freshman to take on the load that he's taking on. He is our press break. He is our point guard. He's got to create a lot of the shots. I told him when the ball leaves his hands, it's either got to be him shooting or his teammate shooting. He's got to create a lot, whether it's an assist or a bucket. And Andrew plays a lot better when Landon can get him and others involved. So there's a lot of pressure on that little guy, and he's been handling it very well so far with the ups and downs. But we keep him pretty pumped up, and I look forward to having him for 4 years.
I noticed some other guys that have stepped up a little bit too. Over these 3 games, as the games have progressed, some guys have gotten better.
Yes. One of the cool things about this year is we've had kids in our program for a long time that I haven't got to coach because of that large group of seniors that left last year. So Coulter Dillenbeck, Tucker Johnson, Alex Stry, and Preston Berg, who came out last year. They've been in our program working hard for 3 years, and they never really got the opportunity to be on my side of the court for practice and come to summer tournaments and do those things, because we had 11, 12 seniors in front of them. So it's fun for me to get to the chance to get a better connection with those guys, work with them in practice, develop them. Again, a big thing in our program, we talk about growing boys into men. And the maturity that those guys have shown from last year to this year has been incredible. Coulter Dillenbeck especially, not a lot of confidence in himself last year, and now he is a different beast. He really is wanting to get better. He has a ton of confidence in what he's doing, and he's been our second leading scorer the last 2 games behind Andrew. So really impressed with him, and not only as a basketball player, but just for his personal life. The attitude he's coming with and the confidence he's showing, puffing his chest out and walking around very proud, and that's ultimately what it's all about. So really cool.
Well, what about your team? You only have 3 games into the season. What are you seeing as your strength coming in now?
I would say that we are pretty relentless. We are after the ball. On defense, we get teams. We want to get teams playing pretty chaotically. And that stems from that we don't know really how to play basketball yet, so we want the other teams to play chaotic as well. And our kids kind of thrive in that chaos because that's what they're used to. So we want to make the game pretty chaotic. We want to be a team that people ask, what in the heck are they doing? Defensively, offensively, what are they doing? And the kids kind of like that. They own that. And so we've done an okay job of that. Stratford really handled our pressure well with their physicality. They ran kind of through us instead of around us. But that'll happen. We have a lot of freshmen, sophomores on the court, and against the Stratford state football champs, they weren't too scared of our little guys up there pressuring them, so they went right through us. But just different things to see. I thought we competed really well with them, even though we gave up a lot physically to them, and as well as Alma Center Lincoln, who this is their year. They've had the same starting lineup basically for 4 years now. Jace Paul's a great player for them, and again, when we lost everybody, we still battled with them. We've been in every game, and I told the kids as a coach, our job is to put you in a position to win, and I feel like we've done that so far. Haven't pulled them all out, but we've been in a position to win. We've had leads in both those games, and we're just trying to learn and grow every day.
That was one of the things I was going to say. In both those games against Stratford and Alma Center, you had leads early on, but it seemed like the turnover bug got a hold of you, and the other team took over.
Yep, that's we've even in this short season, I think we've changed our offense about 3 times, depending on we had an idea coming in. I was wrong, so we had to change, and we've changed, and now I think we're finally at a point where kids are comfortable. I thought we had an offense that worked coming in, but with the pressure of Stratford, it really showed how uncomfortable some kids were with the ball in certain places. So we've changed that, we've tweaked it, and hopefully we can build on this one a little differently. And we'll mold and adjust, and we knew there'd be bumps in the road, and the turnovers, again, with a freshman point guard, you're gonna have a lot of those. So, we'll grow from there. We teach them different reads every day in different situations, and we never know how teams are gonna defend. And so every game is a learning opportunity for him and for everybody else.
Gene?
Coach, you mentioned having a freshman point guard. I'd like to ask about that, in that we do from time to time see freshmen play key roles on a varsity ball club. We had that in Marshfield with Brooks Hinson played as a freshman. And sometimes you look at a young man who's that age and say, well, physically he can handle it, but the emotional part, the maturity of playing ball at that age on the varsity level. Do you and your staff think about that, discuss that before you make that move to put that young man on the varsity ball club?
So the quick answer would be yes, we think about that. The answer that I'll give for this situation was we had no other option. So Landon got thrown in there. Pretty early. He knew from probably last year as an 8th grader that he was going to be that guy in that role. And so this summer we played as many games as we could this summer and let him grow. And there were definitely some times where he felt, holy smokes, this is a lot of pressure on me, and he got in some down places mentally, but my relationships that I make with the kids, I feel like help that. So he was very comfortable coming up to me and saying, this is my problem, this is how I'm feeling, and we talked through that, and I told him without a single question that my job is to filter the chaos from him. Any judgment from parents or crowd or community members or other teams, any problems they would have with him or anything like that, that's my job to filter for him, and that he knows that he has my full trust, the team's full trust, everyone's behind him, and so he knows that if he goes out there and does his best, that he doesn't disappoint anybody, and that has really helped him come into his own.
How do his teammates help in that situation?
Well, Andrew's been a big part of that. I pulled Andrew aside last year, and I told him, next year, you and Landon got to become best buddies. And it helps because Andrew has a little brother in the same grade, Adam, and Adam is also playing on varsity for us as a freshman. So Adam and Landon have grown up together forever, and now Andrew has kind of takes both of them. Adam goes with Andrew everywhere he goes. They've been lifting together, and both of those Hazer boys have been really good for Landon and pulling him along. And we have some other sophomores that also have taken him under their wing, and they encourage him like crazy. They know how talented he is, and there's no, he has the ball. We talk about him a lot, and so far there's been no problems as far as people having hard feelings about it. They know what he can bring to the table, and they want to do what's best for us and give us the best chance of winning, and they know that he's that guy.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for coming by. Good luck this season.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Coach.
Neillsville High School boys basketball coach Mike Gaier with us on our boys basketball coaches program. The Warriors back in action Friday in Marshfield against the Columbus Dons. That game will be broadcast Friday night on 92.7 FM WPKG with Larry Hazer calling the action. And that game also can be seen on Friday on ZaleskiSports.com. Back with more from Nutz Deep 2 in Marshfield following these messages.
High school sports coverage is brought.
Join the Gross family of satisfied customers at Gross Buick in Marshfield. Come see their large selection of cars, trucks and SUVs on the Marshfield lot. Or find it at grossauto.com, and we'll have it delivered to Marshfield for your convenience. You'll love their people and state-of-the-art service department, where service guests get a free courtesy car. Top it all off with the Gross lifetime engine warranty on most vehicles. Gross Buick of Marshfield.
The Sports Den, located on Marshfield's sunny south side since 1975. The Sports Den has the area's best selection of outdoor equipment. Find top brands of snowshoes, cross-country and downhill skis, snowboards, swimming equipment, skateboards, and more. The Sports Den has a full-service bike repair center along with top bike brands, Specialized, Trek, and others. The Sports Den is Central Wisconsin's Fat Bike headquarters. Visit the Sports Den in Marshfield Monday through Saturday and thesportsden.net.
From humble beginnings in 1904, the Wheatrick family has grown Grassland Dairy Products into one of the largest processors of butter in the nation. Based in Greenwood, Wisconsin, the family and its hundreds of employees continue their pursuit of providing high-quality products that can proudly be served in restaurants and homes across America.
Since 1975, the Sports Den in Marshfield has been offering quality products and service in bicycles, skis, snowshoes, swimming, skateboards, and even disc golf stuff. They have premium bikes, gear, and apparel in stock. In fact, they are Central Wisconsin's Fat Bike store. Don't forget to shop the large variety of e-bikes, too. The Sports Den, South Central Avenue, Marshfield, open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday, 10 to 4. The Sports Den, bike, board, ski, explore.
Once again, we're at Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield for our boys basketball preview program. That'll wrap things up for our program this evening. Larry Hazer joining us from WPKG in Neillsville. Larry, thanks for joining us. Looks like some pretty good ball clubs in our area once again this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these teams like Loyal play this year, Colby. In the Clover Belt Conference, which we normally do a lot of the games in the Clover Belt. So, it's going to be fun.
And you'll be in Loyal tomorrow night for Neillsville Girls.
Girls, yeah.
And then back in Marshfield on Friday for Neillsville Columbus Boys.
Yeah, and the girls team from Neillsville off to a pretty good start.
Yep. certainly are. Having a good season once again, ranked in the state Division 4 poll. That's good to see as well. Now, once again on WOSQ, 92.3 FM, WOSQ on Friday night will be in Schofield for Marshfield Tiger basketball. Tigers and DC Everest Friday night game time, 7:15. That broadcast 7 p.m. on Friday evening on 92.3 FM, WOSQ. Once again, some of the highlights on ZaleskiSports.com on Thursday. In girls basketball, Neillsville at Loyal, Owen Withy at Columbus, both on ZaleskiSports.com on Thursday. Boys basketball on Thursday, Wild Rose at Pacelli. Also hockey, Wausau West at Mosinee, Merrill East at DC Everest, and also Marshfield Tiger Wrestling on Thursday on ZaleskiSports.com. DC Everest and Marshfield, that broadcast Thursday at 7 p.m. I understand Jason Zaleski will be exhibiting some holds during that match on Thursday evening on Zaleski Sports. Good to see that. Hopefully he won't be called for any flagrant penalties again, as is normally the case, but that'll be on Thursday evening on ZaleskiSports.com, Marshfield Tiger Wrestling. So again, Larry, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thank you, Gene.
And hopefully we're going to do this once again next year. I'm Gene Delisio at Nutz Deep 2 on South Central Avenue in Marshfield.